Please welcome Ranbir Kapoor.
Ranbir, I love you!
There's a lot of love.
I look what he's wearing. No. They are so good.
Absolutely.
Please, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. It's my second time at the Dynasty International Film Festival, and it's always amazing to be here back in Saudi Arabia. But thank you so much for showing this love and for being here. Thank you.
It's a very interactive.
I'll do it all. I'll do it all.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. You come from a very large acting family, I would say acting dynasty. Did you ever think you would do anything else than acting?
I think, of course, when you're growing up, you have, like, especially when you're in school, I wanted to be a karate instructor. I wanted to be, I wanted to join the army once. But I think in life, when you truly start loving something, when your energies are drawn towards a profession, when you suddenly have a burning ambition, I think destiny chooses you. Of course, I come from a privileged background, I come from a film family, so the opportunities were always there for me to try my hand and something in cinema. But initially in my early 20s, before I started acting, I always wanted to direct a movie. That's why I went to a film school, I learned direction. I assisted Mr. Sanjay Bansali on a film called Black. So I had the ambition to be part of the movies. Acting was number 2, direction was 1, but I think somewhere acting just chose me.
Yeah, and I thought it was very interesting that you still studied acting. Not every actor does it, especially, as you said, coming from a privileged acting family. So you went to New York to the Rockstar School of Acting. How did you view that experience? What did it bring you? How did it morph you as an actor? Was it useful?
I think in your initial years before you start, before you choose your job or your job chooses you, I think it's very important to really form a base, what your roots are. Not just going to an acting school, but I think every experience should be an experience that helps you towards your goal. And I think going to Lee Strasberg, even though I don't really believe in the method acting, but just the fact that I got exposure to that side too, I could take something from there. I could take something from Mr. Bansali when I was assisting him on a film called Black. So every experience really added, for me to be an actor. And I think one thing I always tell an aspiring actor or actress, if you ever want to be a part of the movies, I think it's very important to really look at life or experience life and soak it in. If it's traveling, if it's reading a book, if it's watching a movie, if it's heartbreak, just experience every emotion. It will really come in your world.
So you were away from home. That probably, made you understand a certain aspect of yourself as a
Being away from home?
Yes.
Well, it was amazing to be away from home because it's the first time I went and I was living abroad, I was living alone. So that kind of feeling was always nice. And I think just the exposure to meet people from different cultures, different countries, interact with them, share your ideas, be part of short films. I think everything, just the experience of being independent was something which I truly cherish.
Did you meet any interesting directors at the time that were not from Hollywood in New York?
Yes, loads of them. Like I said, from all different parts of the world. I myself directed many a short film. They were terrible, pathetic, and I've kind of dubbed them deep down. Nobody ever get to see them. But just the experience of getting $500 to make a 15-minute short film, where you're buying the crew pizza for lunch, where you're in the cold, just you are holding the camera, you're acting, you are kind of making sure that the sound is okay. I think that all of that experience really adds up.
Then back home, did your parents ever have an influence on your acting, basically?
I think more than acting, my parents really had an influence in my life. I think the kind of value system that they instilled in me and my elder sister. I think my parents never sat me down and said, okay, kid, you want to become an actor, so we're going to give you some tips. You know, my father never ever advised me towards what films I should do or not do. Having said that, he was never happy with my choices. He always thought that my choices were too independent, they were too, because for a certain kind of audience, he always wanted me to do films which were meant for wider audiences. But I always believe that if I don't really, create my own individualistic path, if I don't make my choices, if I don't choose characters that I could relate to, I will never ever form an audience. So I really have to do it my way. So he was always, a little bit, he always had a battle with me when that was concerned. But never ever did he ever impose, you should act this way or you should do that. You were very take credit for your success and learn from your mistakes. It's very important that you do it yourself.
But you did work with him as an assistant director on one of his films. How was that experience and how much did it teach you guys about each other artistically?
I think assisting my father more than learning anything was just, the first time I got to spend a lot of time with him. While we were growing up, he was always busy at the movies. So, and we were always petrified of him. He was always been a short-tempered gentleman. But when I assisted him, I remember we were also sharing a room. So just those 4 months, like when we were shooting in New York or we were shooting in different parts of the world, just being around him and spending time with him, I think I cherished that more than the fact that I got to assist him as a director.
But it's interesting to be on a film set, to understand what happens from especially you have a lot of curiosity about film itself, not only about acting. So how much do you love that, being on film sets in a different role as the one of an actor?
Well, that's the greatest film school, being on a film set, looking at the director. First you read the scene, okay, this is what the scene is, this is the beginning, middle and end. But now how the director envisions it, what kind of direction he gives to the actors, what are the actors bringing to the table, what are the energies, and then just being there, it teaches you everything. I went, like I said, I went to a film school in New York, I went to an acting school, but the amount I learned on the set of Black, in that 1 year apprenticeship that I did, that taught me the most.
You made a lot of films at the beginning of your career, and Johnny Rocket Singh, Samaria, etc. How much time did you feel it took you to find your own imprint and identity as an actor?
I think it takes a while. It takes a while for you yourself to realize what you believe in, what your ideologies are. And it takes a while for the audience to also kind of get warmed up to you. I always had a lot of support and a lot of love for my first film itself, though it was a disaster at the box office. I did get opportunities because I guess producers, directors, and the audience felt, okay, this boy has some potential, let's give him another opportunity, let's see how he does. But I think, starting out when I did films like Wake Up Save or Rocket Sing or Barfi and Rockstar, sorry? Oh, thank you. Thank you. So yeah, when I was choosing these paths, these were very unconventional to people from the film industry, but to me, it was very conventional. I felt like these stories were stories that I would like to see as an audience. I would love to see a film like this with, a Shah Rukh Khan or a Salman Khan or an Amir Khan. So why not? So I had to be individualistic. I had to have my own ideology, and that's how I looked at it. I felt like if you don't take a risk in life, it's never going to pay. There's a line from a film of mine, Rocket Sing, that he says, the risk to Spider-Man to be to translate that in Spider-Man needs to take a risk. So that was a very important factor in my mind, that I didn't want to play it safe. I didn't want to just do the running around the trees or do some action sequences and horse riding. I wanted to be part of good movies, good characters. Try and make movies where an audience doesn't see what they are, but they can see what they can be. I think that was very important.
Let's talk about a very small, unsuccessful movie called Rockstar.
Oh, amazing!
Let's talk about a very small, unsuccessful movie called Rockstar. Like that, very, very successful. But I love the approach that you had in this movie. You kind of embodied his life and, spent a lot of time researching how you could portray this character. Was it a new approach for you, that you kind of immersed yourself completely?
Well, firstly, I think Rockstar was a very important film in my career. It really changed a lot of things, how people saw me. I got a lot of appreciation as an actor. But I think starting out, just going on this journey with Imtiaz Ali, one of my favorite filmmakers.
Amazing. He's an amazing.
And I think, he was going into this cave, he was surrendering to this vision, and he really needed an ally, and I was more than happy to be his ally. But I think the starting point for me for Rockstar was, spending 3 to 4 months with Mr. A.R. Rahman in Chennai, where he was creating the music of Rockstar. Just to be privy to that creation, a genius like Mr. A.R. Rahman, seeing all the songs of Rockstar being created, sung by Mohit Chauhan, written by Irshad Kamil, the vision of Imtiaz Ali. Just that process, I was in. Now it was just about starting to shoot the film. And there are very few films in an actor's life, and I've probably had it once or twice, is that a film and a character comes free with inspiration. Otherwise, inspiration is very scarce. It's very rare that you're inspired in every film. But with Rockstar, with the character, with Imtiaz Ali, with the music, everything was inspiring for me. So it made the ride very easy. It was a lot of hard work, but when you're inspired, you don't really feel the hard work. You're just going on this ride and it's just happening. So yeah, a very, very, very inspiring film in my career.
What are you guys' favorite songs from Rockstar?
Kun fayakun. Kun fayakun.
Nadan Parinde. Sadat.
All the songs have been really, magical in that film. I remember when we were shooting Kun Fayakun, we were shooting in Nizamuddin Dargah, and we stayed there for 3 days. And just to be part of, that place, the spirituality, it was during winter time, it was, the kawals were singing live. So everything that was happening in the film, the world was provided with by India. So when I was there as an actor, you just connected with everything. You connected with every moment, you connected with the feeling. So it was just a magical experience where everything was just coming to me. I didn't really have to work too hard towards it.
And then it was a huge success, and then it paid off with awards. I mean, it's those kinds of projects where you really feel like you're in the right place doing the right thing, right? Let's talk about Barfi. Because the research for this was, Chaplin and Italian cinema and Bellini and Italian cinema, how much do you view cinema as an international inspirational art form?
Well, firstly to start with Barfi, I remember when Barfi was offered to me, it was written as a very intense character. There was no Charlie Chaplin-esque or no comedy attached to it. And when Basu, the director, Anurag Basu, we started shooting for the movie, after a couple of days we realized it's getting a bit too intense. Let's try and lighten it up, because I was playing deaf mute, Priyanka was playing someone who was autistic, and it was a triangle love story. And I was playing this petty, intense thief. But then we had this brainchild, like let's just swing this to the other side. Let's make him totally comic. Let's get inspired by Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, my own grandfather, Mr. Raj Kapoor, his old films. And we just looked at every scene, with a hint of a smile. We just wanted to, even though it was dramatic, we still saw it with comedy behind it. Because there is a lot of tragedy in comedy, and I think Charlie Chaplin did that so beautifully. Of course, the inspiration has always been Charlie Chaplin, has been an inspiration for so many generations. So he has been an inspiration on this film. But I've always said that Barfi, for me as an actor, was a complete fluke. Because it wasn't like we had a script or had dialogues. Everything was on set, improvisations. We understood the arc of the story, we understood the beginning, middle, and end. We understood, okay, this is the scene that we have to do today. But it was all just going to set every day and just performing and just kind of creating it day by day. When I finally saw the film, we shot this over a period of 2 years. When I finally saw the film, I myself was so surprised. I was like, wow, it's really come together well. So very fond memories, very frustrating at times while we were working, because we didn't have a blueprint. But extremely special film in my career.
How much do you watch international cinema? You spoke about Charlie Chaplin and his own amazing filmography. What is your taste in film?
Everything actually. I think I'm 42 today. For the last 30 years, I see a movie a day. So I've seen it all. If it's international, if it's Hollywood, Hindi, regional, every language. I've watched all that there is. So movies has been part of my life. It's been my dream. So my favorite films would be, my all-time favorite film is a film called Life is Beautiful, which is the Roberto Benigni. If I ever direct a film, I would love to direct a film like that. But it's such a large, look at the world, the kind of movies the world is making. It's very hard to choose one. But I would say Life is Beautiful is my all-time favorite.
It's very interesting that you say that, because at the for those who've seen it, at the end of Life is Beautiful, you got so attached to the characters throughout this comedic timings and sadness, as you described before, that I remember seeing it and I was completely devastated. It's like, you get attached to them viscerally. And I think in a lot of your films, the audience has reacted like that. So how much do you relate to that type of comedic timing and cinematic approach?
I think I relate to it a lot, but as an actor, there is also a trap that you don't keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
So sometimes, you get surprised yourself. Like, I remember when a film like Animal was offered to me. When I heard the script, I was so scared because it's not something. It's more a part that directors saw me in. It was, my image was something more of like a coming of age, romantic hero kind of image. So I really had to take that risk and leap of faith to really surprise myself as an actor. Because I felt like even in the last few years I was getting very stale, I was getting repetitive, I was getting bored of myself. So sometimes you have to, take a path less traveled for me as an actor. To really surprise myself and to be less skilled and really just be in chaos. Chaos sometimes is important to create.
Does it mean you have to turn down what could be a box office success for a role that you viscerally feel for?
Yeah, I think, like I said, being safe is very boring. And if, as an actor, you find it boring, the audience is 100% going to feel bored watching you. So it's very important to constantly reinvent yourself, constantly be a part of different stories. I'm always looking for, especially in India, when I meet directors, when I meet young kids who want to direct a movie, I'm so interested in their life and where they come from. Just because I really have this, this city growing up exposure, but the heartland of my country where the real stories are coming from, I'm so far removed from it that I'm always borrowing it from my directors or the people I meet. So when I meet somebody who's really kind of rooted, from a different part of my country, I'm always more attracted to those stories than someone who I've grown up. It's a dream for anyone, and especially for me. And it's a film that has everything. It's truly what Indian culture is about. It teaches you good versus evil, about family dynamics, about husband-wife dynamic. So I'm very, very excited about that. I've just started a film called Love and War with Mr. Sanjay Leela Bhansali, who are making the movie again after 17 years. My co-stars are probably two of the finest actors in Indian cinema. That's my wife Alia Bhatt and Vicky Kaushal, two of my favorite actors. And I think Mr. Bhansali is one of the last of the masters. He's somebody who's given us such great cinema year after year. And even today, I work with him. He has the same amount of passion, same amount of artistry. His genius is just unparalleled. So just to be a part of his movies, his characters, is truly a pleasure. Very excited about that. Then I'll get on to Animal Park, which is part 2. And then the Brahmastra stories will continue. So that's what my current
You are a busy bee. And also you take a lot of time to look at the world around you and to shed the light on important causes to you. One of them is women empowerment, and the festival is all about empowering female filmmakers. So how important is that to you?
Well, I think as an artist, especially somebody who's in a position who has a voice, I think it's our responsibility to. There are certain evils and there are certain stigmas around the world, and I think as an artist you have the opportunity to break that. Of course, my job is to entertain, but even in the entertainment, in the garb of entertainment, if I can do something which can bring about a positive change to society, to the people, I think that's something which I have always believed and continue to believe.
What is closest to your heart in terms of the causes that you champion?
Everything, women empowerment, if it's education. There are so many causes we can go on, and I think not just through your movies, even through an interview or through an ad film or through an appearance, if you can support and champion certain causes, it's your duty, it's your responsibility, and if you don't do it, there's nobody else to do it.
That's very true. Tell us about your lifestyle brand. There's something exciting that you're working on.
Yes, so it's a brand called Mars. It's a lifestyle brand. 5 years back I was thinking I have two choices. I can either direct a movie or start a brand because it requires same amount of work, the same amount of time. So this is something I've been really passionate about. It started off as a sneaker brand. I've been a sneakerhead for the longest time. And that grew into a lifestyle brand where first catering to male and female. I'm extremely excited about it. We're going to start, I think sometime in Jan, Feb. Worked really hard at it. And the first drop is something which is essentials and we're going to start building on it. But it's something I'm extremely passionate about and I really want to give a lot of myself, a lot of my time and a lot of my passion towards it.
I'm going to open up questions with the fans. I just have one question and leave it.
Please, here, this way.
Is there anyone's question?
Here, this one.
My last question is about, when you're a star in Bollywood, you need to be multi-talented. You need to be able to sing and to dance and to act at the same time. It's not the same elsewhere. Which talent is for you the most pleasant and which one is for you the most challenging?
I think there's a preconceived notion that acting is very easy. It is very hard. At one point, I guess 20 years back, when actors were starting out, there was this, you had to learn horse riding, you had to learn dance, you had to learn action. But I think now characters are changing, worlds are changing. You have to really go by the character, what kind of film you're doing, and work accordingly to that. So there's a lot of prep work. You do 6 to 8 months of prep before you get onto a part. And those 6 to 8 months is really daunting and challenging is because you really try and figure out this part, you really figure out the physicality, you really figure out, okay, how can I make this different? How do I make the audience believe that I am not Ranbir Kapoor, the person that they know for so many years, but I am playing this character? And I think that there's a lot of fun and a lot of excitement in that process.
Thank you so much. Okay, all right. We'll start with the gentleman here in the white shirt.
Are you going to give him a mic? Hi, what's your name?
Oh my god, I'm dreaming.
Your name is Dreaming.
My name is, sorry?
What's your name?
Yes, sir. I'm a young filmmaker from Morocco, and I have to say something. I know you've heard this millions of times, but Tamasha really changed my life. And the moment I saw Tamasha, I decided to invest in being a filmmaker. I grew up watching your films. You were a source of, for me, a huge inspiration to introduce the good cinema. I'm very happy when I saw you here in the festival. I took the first plane from Paris to just to have this experience. I'm very blessed for this opportunity. I just want to say that I love you so much. I have one last question. For me as a filmmaker, I'm curious to know you as a great actor. How do you pick your films? And how do you prepare mentally for a film, especially a role like Fed in Tamasha? Thank you so much, sir. I love you.
Thank you, Asif. That's really, I'm so moved and touched by your kind words. This is what really makes me the happiest. When someone says things like you have just said, so thank you so much. How do I pick films? I think you've got to pick films, it's instinctive. There is no formula, there is no okay, I've done a comedy now, so let's do a love story or let's do an adventure film. It's the timing in your life, what kind of opportunities come. I've been very lucky. When I started out, I was one of the few young actors, so I got a lot of these parts like Wake Up Say, Rocket Say, Barfi, because they were written for younger parts, for younger actors. And how do I prepare? Each film comes with different kind of preparation. Like Sanju had a different kind of preparation, Barfi had a different kind of preparation. But a film like Tamasha, I think India has always told me that in Tamasha, the character I was playing Gail, you have to really play him ordinary. If you don't play him ordinary, if you play him like a hero, audience will not connect with him. You have to kind of mirror it to the audience, like are you giving it your best? Are you doing what you dream of? Are you chasing your dreams? So it was very important to show Gail and then show Dawn. There was a parallel which was going on. It was a very tough film, but what we also did during the making of that film, and it's kind of silly, but Imtiaz insisted that we do it. We we shot the whole film in India. You know, so we kind of discovered the character as we were going about it. And I have to mention Deepika Padukone in this film because the kind of depth that she brought to Tara's part. You know, she became the lens of the audience. So how Tara saw Gail is how the audience also saw Gail. Sometimes it's very important that your co-actor, you know, gives your character that much of respect and has a certain gaze towards you, which kind of becomes the audience's gaze. So to answer your question, every part is different. Tamasha was very hard, but it was a very pleasant shooting experience. Thank you. I also wish you all the best. I hope I'll be working on some more.
Oh, it's my dream, sir.
I know how you analyze the reaction of the audience to the movies. How important is that for you in the sense that, you know, you take their feedback into consideration?
I think that's the most important thing is feedback. You know, sometimes you're living in your house and you're so like cut off from the reality. You've got to be out there, you've got to talk to real people, you've got to see what the real problems are, you know, what's happening around you. If you're so like kind of, you know, just positive inside yourself, you can't really grow, right? So you have to be in touch with people and you have conversations which are, you know, which stimulate your mind. That's very important.
Yeah, please.
Hi.
Ranbir sir, can I first say that I really love you.
Thank you.
All your characters, Ved, Bunny, Ayan, they have stuck with me so much. They've inspired me on every step of my life. So I want to ask you, what is the one character that you played, which is very special to you and very close to your heart? And can I just say I really love you?
Love you, thank you. What's your name?
Honey.
Honey. Sorry, I think one. It's very hard to pick apart, but my third film, which was a film called Wake Up Sid. Again, you know, because I had done Savarya, I had done Pachna, Hasino. But when I came to Wake Up Sid, I realized as an actor I was working at a time when you could really just play a character. You didn't really need to play the hero. Sid was somebody who, you know, was the lazy calm. He didn't have ambition, he didn't have drive. We all have been there at some point in our lives. So I really connected with the way the part was written. I really connected with his philosophy. So yeah, Wake Up Sid, it was a very special film. And also, you know, the director, Ayan Mukherjee, who's one of my closest friends. I remember after a week of shoot, he came home to speak to me, and I was sitting on my bed and he sat on the floor and he's like, listen, buddy, you're screwing my film up. This is not a film where I want you to play the hero. This is a character, his name is Sid. He is someone that you'll have to play a character. You cannot play a version of this hero that's in your mind, you know, that you've seen Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Amitabh Bachchan do. This is not that kind of a film. And that really kind of switched something in my mind. I was like, okay, you know, we are part of the movies now that you could play different parts and not just play to the stereotype. So that was something which really changed something.
Raya. Raya.
To be fair,
Ranbir.
the lady in red,
Ranbir.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name?
I'm Marian.
Marian.
Last
Hi.
time you came, I sang for you.
Which song did you sing?
But yes,
Which song did you sing?
I gave it on Paso.
Which one? Oh wow. Your beautiful voice, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so give my love to Ra. First of all, she's a cute guy. And what was my question? I want to see you, or we would all like to see you act or just say one of your dialogues from your movies.
Any favorite, any film that you would like to say?
Vatne kiya kya hasti se Vrindavan.
Okay.
तुम हमेशा
तुम पहले भी इतनी खूबसूरत थी या हाँ बेबी डॉल ये सब भी बेबी sorry
you remember all the lines?
no I don't actually when somebody asks me this question usually I have a film which my favorite dialogue is from that film and it's the easiest thing and that is
Hi.
chance.
What's your name?
Festival. My name is Sunil Sharma.
Hi.
Welcome to Peace, welcome.
Thank you.
How was?
Good? So far, yeah. What do you feel?
We love your movies all over everywhere. Initially, we have seen you have started your movies with the chocolatey rose and romantic movies and everything. Then last movie, your Animal, Angry Young Man. Personally, I really loved it. I have seen 4 times. I really loved it. And after some time, I have seen some news some controversial about the movie. The movie is not giving correct subject to the kids and all. So being to kid's father, it went through in my mind, 2-3 days I was thinking about this, the movie which I really liked in my life. Is it giving correct subject to the society or no? So I tried to search online about your views about this movie, especially Animal, but I haven't seen something like coming from specific from your mouth. Can you please?
Yeah, I think firstly, Animal, like I said earlier on also, when I heard it myself as an actor, I was so scared to be a part of this film, because it was such a challenging role for me. Having said that, Animal is an A-rated film. It's for people 18 plus from different countries. They have different age brackets. But I think as an actor, it's very important for me to explore every story, every character. I can only choose a part where I can connect myself and I feel like, okay, this is a story I want to be a part of. When I met Sandeep Reddy, the director of Animal, I found him so original, I found him so passionate, somebody who respected me and somebody who also admired my body of work. And I've always wanted to collaborate with him. So collaborating on Animal has been extremely gratifying an experience for me. But having said that, I'm also extremely careful with the parts I choose. It's not something that I want to put out a bad message to society. I do want to always bring something positive. So in my filmography, there aren't many films that will say, okay, this film is wrong, or this film is trying to inspire the youth in a wrong way. And I don't believe Animal is that too. It was an emotional story between a father and son. The film is called Animal. The film is not called Human Being. The title itself